So, I'd love to just dive in and ask you, first of all, what attracted you to this script and this role when you first heard about it, and what made you want to participate in this film?
Um, well, it came along as any, like a normal audition, and I went to the audition. But as soon as I heard that Jemima Khan was a part of it, I told my mum, and my mum used to keep a little scrapbook of Jemima, and which was because she was one of few white ladies that had been to Pakistan with Princess Diana, and so it was very strange to go, and I had to tell her straight away. I was like, my mum had pictures of you, so she had her own like visualization board. It was crazy. It was such a weird thing, and it just felt like a bit of fate. And working with Shaker, who's one of the the great filmmakers, and just the chance to work with him was just very, very exciting. And yeah, I mean, it all seemed to sort of fit together. And working with Lily, so when I found out she was involved in the project, because she's a very good friend of mine, so it was just one of those things.
Oh, that's great. Sometimes, when you're working with actors, you don't know how that chemistry is going to be, right? That first day you get to set, it's, always a little awkward. So you guys knew each other before. That brings sort of a little bit of a shorthand and a calming presence, I'm sure.
Very much so. Yeah, we were done, rehearsals a month before, and we were talking every day, and we'd go down somewhere else and rehearse together. So we just turn up, and I knew there was no like fear on set about how are you going to be, and you have to all the small
Yeah.
talk, all that.
Yeah, trying to get to know each other, egos, anything like that, which leads me into, which is very much a first date kind of process, right? When you're dating someone, it kind of feels like you're interviewing for an endless job.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this is a very timely movie, because I think there are a lot of people who are kind of caught in this world of swiping right or left, trying to meet their person, especially if you live, in a more rural area. Maybe there's less people and you're not sure, but if you live in a big city, you're like, oh, I can just keep swiping, but it leads to this sort of like fatigue that I think a lot of people are understanding. And then you have the very different cultural aspect of having your parents arrange your marriage, which to most Americans is like, wait, what? I would never I'd never let my mom pick who I'm going to marry. But I got to say, as someone a little bit older and single myself, sometimes I'm like, that doesn't sound like a terrible idea anymore.
I
So
think
tell us, how do you think this fits in the schema, like for, all different audiences, whether they're overseas, they're in the US, they're trying to date.
I think Well, I think the swiping left, swiping right, all these apps, it's basically doing the same thing as what the parents are trying to do anyway. Or, the Indian matchmakers we have, that Netflix series, it's almost the same thing. We're still we're desperate for that connection.
My dog agrees, apparently. Oh my goodness, he hardly ever barks. Sorry.
Yeah, that, everyone seems to be yearning for that or longing for that connection. So, it's almost we have to look at the similarities of it. We all sort of seemingly want the same thing, and just slightly doing it in different ways. But that's why I like the film, because it seems to be an updated version. It's not this forced marriage idea. It's an assisted marriage. It's just people trying to help you out because they just desperately want to see you, happy and in love and all the things. So yeah, I mean, it's tough at the moment. There's a lot of stimulus out there, and the world is tough, and people have tough lives, and everyone just wants to cuddle up.
I think there was a line, I think it was in the trailer too, where Emma Thompson says, like, we all need somebody, right? And I think that is a theme, I think that maybe even came more to fruition, like during, the pandemic. Obviously, we're coming out of that still, but like, people are returning to the movies. They were looking for things that kind of resonate with the experience they've just had of being alone or being isolated. A lot of people feel like they've lost time, right? They lost 3 years or whatever. Do you think that plays into this and how audiences, will receive it?
Very much so. I mean, I suppose that's what rom-coms do, and I suppose what's good about this one, it also has quite a serious emotional core to it. So I think both things can resonate even more, and yeah, very much so. The pandemic and all that stuff would have played a part. Yeah, I could say that I was very lonely at that time as well. So it's just, it's seems to be at the right time these things come out.
So I'm the queen of rom-coms. My friends they always know. They're like, oh, if it's a rom-com, Jen will see it, right? And I got this, I was like, oh, I really want to see this. Yes, I want to do the interview. So tell us, are you a rom-com fan? What are some of your favorite rom-coms that you've seen, maybe like before, going into making this film?
Very much so. I'm a big movie buff, but yeah, I love a rom. I love the classic, like When Harry Met Sally and Harold and Maude, and I think the Apartment. But for me, something like The Apartment also has a similar thing. It has like a real serious underbelly to it. So that's why I like this, because it's got that family drama, emotional, assisted marriage kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, Apartment's one of my top. Shirley MacLaine and Jack Lemmon in that is top notch. Notting Hill, obviously, The Holiday. Yeah, I've got time for The Holiday.
Yeah, you got to watch The Holiday every Christmas, of course.
Yeah.
Well, and anything else coming up that we can kind of check you out in? What's next for you after this project?
I just finished playing Captain Nemo in it's a origin story of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Disney Plus 10-part series, sort of action adventure, Indian prince getting revenge against the East India Company, that kind of thing.
Is there any love in there too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the main through line.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking time this morning. And I love the movie, so I can't wait for audiences to see it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.